Oh my gosh, hey guys, welcome in. It's Lacy J. Dalton week here on the Boston Chris podcast. Man, what a treat. As a country music fan, as somebody who has been following country music since I was 8 years old, over 40 years, it is such an honor and privilege to chat with a very, very amazing artist this week. Lacy J. Dalton is an iconic artist. One of the first female outlaws in country music. Perhaps the first female outlaw in country music. What an honor it was to chat with Lacy today. Before we get into it with Lacy, I want you guys to hit that like button wherever you're watching or listening. Or if you want to see more like this in-depth, candid conversation with Lacy, go ahead and hit that subscribe button or follow button wherever you are. And of course, I want you guys to comment down below what your favorite part of this episode was. Lacy J. Dalton is an American country singer and songwriter with a career that has spanned decades and touched the hearts of millions of music fans. In March of 2017, Lacy was inducted into the North American Country Music Association International Hall of Fame, and in 2022 she was awarded a Lifetime Career Achievement Award from the Josie Music Awards, the largest independent music award show in the country. She's one of the most instantly recognizable voices in music, the woman that People magazine dubbed country's Bonnie Raitt. From the first time Lacy caught the public's ear, that soulful delivery, full of texture and grit, has been a mainstay of the country music genre. When you sit to listen to Lacy J. Dalton and her albums, you find yourself pulled in by the very power and heart of this vocalist, because she's not merely performing a 10-song set. She's bringing each and every tune to life. It's as if they were all written especially for her. Guys, we're so excited to get into it with Lacy in the most in-depth interview you will ever find with Lacy J. Dalton. I'm so honored to show this to y'all. Let's get into it with the one and the only, the legendary Lacy J. Dalton.
It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. It's time to jam. It's time to mingle. It's time to see what everyone's drinking. Until we all lose connection.
Hey, this is Chris Pierce. Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris Show.
Hey guys, Boston Chris back again with another fabulous episode. And guys, we have a huge treat for y'all today. The legendary Lacy J. Dalton here on the show today. Having a wonderful day, as we were just saying off air. How you doing today, really, though, Lacy?
Actually, I'm great. I'm great. You know, you reach a certain age where you just realize that shit is going to happen.
Yeah.
And so when it does happen, you just kind of have to roll with it. And
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Isn't it something we learned it's something we learned as kids, right? Like the water just rolls off the duck's back, right? Like you just have to learn that early on, right? I do have a bit of an icebreaker question just to get us started. It's part of my theme song. What are your favorite drinks right now?
Oh, you mean like alcoholic?
Either one, whatever you're
Well,
enjoying.
I can only have one of any alcoholic drink because if I have more than that, I have some blood sugar thing,
Yeah.
and I get a spike going down the middle of my head. This was a gift from God, because really, I am not good at drinking. I don't know, as far as I know, I'm the whitest person on earth. I don't have any Native American blood, but I react like my Native American friends to alcohol. So those drinks are out. I do like them, though.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like them, it's that they don't work. So probably what I'm drinking more than anything is I'm so boring. Water now is a big
That's
deal with
not
coffee.
boring at all. That is,
Actually, coffee is my favorite thing, and I just really need an IV of it every morning to
yeah,
even move.
I understand. Yeah, and that's not boring at all. That's probably the most popular answer on the show, to be honest.
Is it my
Yeah,
people? These are my people.
yeah, the whitest person on earth. I think you're probably gonna have some competition for that one.
Well, perhaps. I haven't shaved my head and put tattoos on it yet.
Well,
You know,
that's a
I
plus.
do. I'm pretty much the color of a trout's belly most of the time.
Yeah, that's a different genre. You're probably not really.
I haven't gone there yet. I do have friends though.
You are a crossover, just not quite that much yet, right? So let's talk a little bit about early on with you. You were you born in Pennsylvania? Is that right, Bloomsburg?
Yes, I was born in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
And
My mom was a waitress. My dad was a guide on a hunting preserve, and I fit in there about like a square peg does in a round hole.
yeah,
But I stayed there, and it was a wonderful place to grow up because I got to know how those people think, how they are, um, and it was a wonderful thing for me. My dad was a redneck, and he was just about somewhere to the right of Archie Bunker.
yeah. Wow, that's pretty right.
And
Yeah.
so I got to know, and he was a gun guy because he was an NRA instructor and a sharpshooter, and he was an amazing person, really. I'm so lucky to have had the parents I had. I'm so grateful to have them because they were honest, they were real people. They were very authentic in what they were. They were, only a little bit full of shit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Not my mother. My mother was straight arrow. But not unhip. My mother was raised on a farm, and she was the valedictorian of her high school, which was a tiny high school in Benton, Pennsylvania. But my mother could drive any piece of heavy equipment that there ever was, and she even, with one husband, drove with semis with swinging meat from Chicago to Omaha.
wow,
So she could drive anything, and they met because they both had motorcycles when they were like 19
wow.
years old. My mother had a Harley, and my dad had an Indian, and I guess it must have been love at first sight.
That's
And
amazing.
then, he went off to war and was shot down in his airplane over, I guess, Belgium, and spent a year and a half in a German prison camp.
Wow.
And so I was raised with a father who we didn't know about PTSD then. And I just remember talking. I said, Dad, how was it? What was that like? And he said, well, I got pretty sick of cabbage and potatoes. And he
Yeah.
said, and it was okay after we started playing cards with the guards. And he wouldn't really talk about it, but I read some letters that he wrote to my mother years and years and years and years later. And oftentimes they didn't know if they were going to be shot that day or not.
Wow.
It was like that for a year and a half. So when he came back, he was changed, but not much. All he ever wanted to do was be a forest ranger, and he knew every plant and every mushroom and every animal in the forest. He knew everything. He was like the first hippie, only he was a redneck.
Yeah.
And he gave me a great appreciation for the natural world. And I had some wonderful adventures with him as a kid. He told me, he said, when you're in the woods, there's nothing in the world in here that's going to hurt you be afraid of, except people. They're the most dangerous thing in the woods.
Wow.
Other human beings. He said the other animals, a rattlesnake will give you a warning. You know what to do if you see a bear. He taught me what to do. And the thing was, I've never been afraid of the natural world. And it's always been where I find the deepest connection with spirit. My mother was also very athletic. They were very athletic people. My father was a double A class archer and a marksman, a top kind of gun guy that you can be. And my mother actually was the state champion in her class in archery. So and they had these bikes, and my mother was kind of a tomboy, but very feminine. She did that whole trad wife thing, along with, wearing jeans well into her 80s.
Wow.
So, I'm grateful. I had great parents, but they were not educated people. They
We
did
have a
not go
lot
to
in
college.
common. It's almost like you're chatting about my folks. My dad was Vietnam era. Also in the military. He wasn't a POW or anything like that, but he was definitely very shell shocked when he came home. A lot of
Enough to get
PTSD,
through here.
and
Yeah, did he?
didn't like to talk about it. And if you could get him to talk about it, then you might want to listen, right? That kind of situation. Like, make sure you're listening, make him feel heard, because it's important that he's actually sharing. Yeah, same kind of situation. And you're right. Like, I feel like people from those generations, they didn't have time for bullshit, right? But at the same time, like, they had to have a certain level of shitting with you, right?
Well, I think the thing that I found interesting was that, in my family, we never talked about politics.
Yeah,
That was never, but I knew where they stood.
sure.
They were definitely right wing. They were definitely um, way conservative in a lot of ways. And yet, my father would kill you if you dropped a piece of paper on the ground or a candy wrapper on the ground or anything like that, or put anything into a stream that,
Yeah,
like a can that you were drinking from. He would have killed you. I
yeah,
mean, you didn't do that. And my mother was the same way. My mother was OCD. They called her Clean Jean. You could literally eat off her floors.
yeah,
And she was just a hard worker. She had endless energy. Had a beautiful figure her entire life. At 80 some years old, she had no cellulite on the back of her legs.
wow,
For
man.
this alone, I said, for this alone.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But they were
incredible.
great, and they were fabulous role models for don't let yourself. My mother used to say, don't sit, don't sit. If you sit, you're gonna die. Get off your ass and do something.
Yeah,
And she was clear into her 80s, taking food to the old people.
wow.
So I
Old
was
people,
lucky.
yeah, that's
How
incredible.
was your mom? How was your mom?
My mom is still alive. My dad is gone now, but my mom is still alive. She's not doing
Yeah.
great. She's still grieving. My dad's been gone since 2013, so I mean, it's 12 years later. That was her soulmate, so everything she knew.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
So,
I'm sorry to hear that. It's just awful.
yeah, it
You
is.
know,
It's
it,
hard. It's hard. Let me
this is
ask
a
you this.
veil of tears.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How is music finding you as a kid?
Well, I don't know if this will be a surprise or not, but my family was a country music family. They all played. My dad played all the string instruments very well. My mother played guitar and sang harmony very well. I can't sing harmony I mean, I'm awful.
People
I
make it
have to
seem
learn.
easy. It's not easy. Harmony is not easy.
Well, it is if you hear the intervals. You can hear the intervals are hearable, and she heard them very easily.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
So I have to learn harmony like it's a melody and then
Sure.
try to match my thing with whoever I'm singing with. It's not an easy thing for me.
No.
And so I haven't done as much of it as I might have liked to. I should have taught myself better to do it, but I never did. But when they would sit around, my sister played piano and she even wrote songs. And we had this huge oak table in our kitchen, round oak table when I was really little, and had a middle pedestal. And I would lean up against this middle pedestal and listen to them. And I remember there was a song called, and it was an Elvis Presley song, and it was called Old Shep.
Mhm.
And to this day, I cannot sing that song without crying and
Yeah.
just thinking about that song. I think dogs are the best people on earth. I
Mhm.
truly do. I have many. And I've been in dog rescue for like 1,000 years.
Mhm.
And so I have great giant rescue dogs now. There's 6 dogs on the property. This is the 6 dog ranch. We lack dogs here. But I could not, to this day, I can't play Old Shep
Hmm.
because it's just so true. They
It's
just
a very
don't move
emotional
right.
song, yeah, and it was, I believe it was the first recording Elvis ever did. A lot of people think
No,
yeah, a lot of people think
no.
that's all right, Mama, but no, he did a recording of that Old Shep song at a county fair that he won a contest for. Yeah,
It's a wonderful song, and I really should sing it because it's absolutely the quintessential. This is how it is when you have a dog and you have to put it down.
yeah,
This is how it is.
yep,
But I changed the words at the end. It's the real song says, "If there's a heaven for doggies, there's one thing I know. Old Shep has a wonderful home." I don't say if. I say there's a heaven for doggies,
yeah,
and one thing I know is Old Shep has a wonderful home. No if. There is something else. We're not. We are spiritual beings in a physical world, and this world is, I believe, a school. I don't think we come here just once, because I don't think we can get it done once. And I think the inequalities that happen with people's births and their physicalness cannot be explained any other way if you believe in a loving God. And that is just why. And it took me a long time to come to that.
Hmm.
But when I finally did, I finally went, okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Let
I
me
get
ask
it.
you
And
this, because I know the internet is always right, right? But I wanted to. I try to research every one of these interviews, and really it's more of a clarification for me because the internet is always right. But from what I've read about you, kind of your first professional or your first exposure to professional music, being paid to do something musical, was kind of on a need basis, right? You were. I read that you were a truck stop waitress / singer in the 70s. Is that kind of how it started?
well, I think I was a truck stop waitress in the late 60s. I think
Okay.
by the 70s I was actually a folk singer, and I was, imitating great folk singers that I had known. There were a lot of great folk singers in New York at that time.
Yeah.
Karen Dalton being one of them, from whom I borrowed her last name. Freddie Neal was up there, Dave Van Ronk, and Judy Henske, who was the first white woman I ever heard who sang with some real, not just, but she actually really sang with her whole body. And white women previous to that, I hadn't heard, and I don't know how many of them were. Black women have always done it
Yeah.
from the beginning. Ma Rainey and those folks have done. Have they been able to really use their whole body to sing? But I think maybe we white women were kind of repressed, and we only wanted to. We didn't want to use our whole body to sing. Now, I could be totally wrong about this because it's not something I've researched. It's just something I felt. And when I first heard Judy Henske, something happened. And I went, I want to sing with my whole body. I don't just want to sing from my throat. That's not it. You got to go, you have to sing with your whole body. And I've heard, when I first heard Janis Joplin, it blew my mind
Yeah.
because I thought, oh, she's doing what I want to do.
She
about
was a
100,000
game changer.
times,
Yeah.
100 times, 1,000 times better than I'm trying to do it. And I believe that was truly from a black influence. That is my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me, knowing what I know about you now and hearing your sound and how you sing and how you, even from how you perform. So, man, folk singing, that's great in the 70s. So,
For a long time,
yeah.
in the 60s, for a long, long time, like 17, like from 17 to maybe 26.
So
maybe past that.
how did the transition to country music happen for you?
Well, I ran off to California with a rock and roll guitar player, a handsome rock and roll guitar player I met at the Bloomsburg State Fair. He was selling posters when I was selling jewelry for Big Joe Ryan. And I remember Big Joe said to me, because he was a hippie, the guitar player, not Joe. Joe was from Philadelphia. He goes, you run with Lace, you get lousy. You'll run with Lace, you get lousy. I thought, I think I'll run with Lace. So I ran with Lace, and I went out to the West Coast. That's not fair to Cousin John, who was actually a great guitar player, and really, I don't know if I hadn't met him if I would have made it to California, but I ran off to California with Cousin John, and that's a whole other story. But we arrived at a hippie commune because we wanted to know what this flower child thing was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And my final analysis of that was, free love my ass. Because, I mean, really, I lived in a commune in Capitola, California, which is a little fishing village at the time. And we had this like 4-bedroom house with about 13 people stuffed in different places and about 10 dogs. And all I did was run around and try to get vegetables. Back then, the grocery stores would give you vegetables if they had a little spot on them or something. They weren't pretty anymore. You could get them. And there was a French bakery where you could get day-old bread, which you could reconstitute. There was a turkey farm up in Davenport, California, which wasn't that far. And we would go up there and get flats, like way big flats of giant turkey eggs for like 50 cents a flat. And I spent all my time gathering food and cooking food and cleaning up after all these people. And, everybody else is like smoking pot and really being groovy and everything. I think I did LSD till it didn't work anymore, but I can't smoke pot. I can't smoke pot because I can see other planes of reality. And just It's a 3-day experience for me,
Yeah,
Pop. I
sure.
can't do it. Which I think Willie and Merle never really trusted me because they didn't understand why I couldn't do pot. I said, I'm already kind of there, boys. Just being in your presence when you're doing that is quite enough.
Yeah,
They're pretty stony guys. And I
yeah,
never
no
forget,
doubt.
they would come into my dressing room at Harris, and they were already huge stars, and I'm struggling. And they'd be smoking pot in my dressing room. You guys are already there. I'm not there. They'll fire me because you're smoking pot in my dressing room. So I think, they never quite understood
Yeah.
why but we did all get to be, I mean, it was wonderful to travel with them. And having been signed as an outlaw artist in 1979 at CBS Records on the strength of a song that I wrote with my longest friend from Pennsylvania. We grew up together. We were friends. We've been friends since we
This
were
was
7 years
Crazy Blue
old.
Eyes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were, and she was at my house trying to struggle through a divorce, get the other end of a divorce. And I was making coffee one morning and I put the coffee on. And so I sat down and started playing this song. And I thought, oh man, she's in exactly the right mood to help me write this song. We write very well together
Yeah.
because we don't fight each other. We're pretty
Sure.
much, it's like brain lock, it's Vulcan. And so we wrote Crazy Blue Eyes. And on the strength of that very different song for Nashville,
Yeah.
I was signed as an outlaw artist, which was actually a very wonderful thing for me because what brought me, I was raised with country music, but I was out there doing psychedelic rock and roll.
Was it called
And
that at the time? Outlaw?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, back then, yes, it was.
Yeah.
And it was the music that brought me back to country music with Waylon and Willie and the boys and then
Right.
Chris Christopherson and that music out of Texas. That made me love country music again.
How do you feel
And
that's different than today? Because it feels like everybody's an outlaw artist now, right? But like, I feel
no,
like back then, you guys were truly outlaws. Like, you were truly outlaws.
well, we were in real life too.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know?
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I think a lot of the outlaw artists were smoking pot very publicly before that was legal.
Yep.
Certainly Willie and Merle, and certainly Chris, and probably Cash. I don't know if Cash admitted it, but he was doing that and other
Well, he
stuff.
was hiding stuff in guitars. Let's just put it that way. You know
Yeah,
that.
but I don't think they talked about it. I think he sort of came from a gospel background, and
Right.
a lot of them that did that would not admit it.
Sure.
And I was that way, not so much because of doing that stuff, but because I just think differently. I think I'm half alien. Actually, I don't know if I'm entirely one of us, but I'm enough of one of us to understand us a little bit. And the bottom line is that was very good for me because for many, many years, I did long, long tours with the likes of Willie and Merle and Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah.
Forever with Hank Williams. I had a dream about Hank Jr. last night. I dreamt that I hugged him in my dream. And let me tell you something about Hank Jr. He has some kind of a reputation as an outlaw and as a wild guy. But I have never been on a better stage in my life. You didn't walk on if you did a bad show on his stage, it was your fault because he had the best crew. He had Captain Kirk, this guy named Kirk, and they had this incredible board. And they had a guitar tech who, if with a minute your guitar was slightly out of tune, you didn't even notice. This guy would come out and take your guitar and put a guitar in tune on. I did a year and a half of shows in front of him, and only one show we didn't get a standing ovation. And that was at the Arco Arena in Sacramento, where all my old friends came. And the worst thing that happened the Arco Arena is known for just horrendous sound. And Hank didn't bring his own sound system because we were performing on the East Coast.
Right.
So they had their own sound system there. And I really pretty much, the sound sucked and I kind of sucked. And all my friends saw me sucking, out on the West Coast where I really wanted to be good. Anyway, so I feel like life is a humbling experience and that spirit humbles us on a daily basis.
Let me ask
if
you
we
something,
knew that.
Lacey. One thing that, as a champion of the female artist, one thing that really pisses me off is when somebody, kind of makes somebody's accomplishments better or more because they were a female rather than just saying the best artist. It's like the best female artist. I hate that so much. But with you in your career, you have the word only in front of your name so much, like the only female Outlaw, the only female artist on Willie Nelson's collaborative CD. This has happened so much in your career. How does that make you feel? Number one, I mean, obviously you're a trailblazer, but do you get pissed off like I do to be characterized as the only female rather than just standing up on your own merits with the boys?
No, and I have to. I don't notice it because it's so entwined in our culture
Yeah,
that as a woman, first of all, I never thought of myself as a trailblazer. I never ever thought of that. I just was being who I was. And when we were given birth control and we had control over what we were doing, um, uh, physically, we didn't have to have a baby every 3 years or whatever. Um, that was a tremendously freeing thing for us. And I was able to speak to that in a way that people hadn't quite. Well, when you think about it, there were a lot of the women before us. I mean, there was the pill.
yeah,
There were some incredibly forward-thinking women, and I think they might have even been more aware of it. I was unconscious as usual, just doing,
yeah.
doing what I did. And only in later life have people said to me things like, "Oh, you were such a trailblazer. You broke the glass ceiling. You did this." And I thought, well, I wasn't aware of it. I was just doing what I did, and I never. It always infuriated me that a man could sleep with as many women as he wanted to, and that was cool.
Oh,
and
my
he
wife and I
was
talk
alive,
about
and
this
that
all
was
the time.
masculine, and
Yep.
that was great. But a woman couldn't do that.
Right.
She was a whore.
Not fair.
And I thought that needs to change.
Yeah.
That needs to change. We are probably not, well, I'm not going to get into that, but I have lots of philosophies about
I
that.
completely agree with you. My wife and I have this discussion all the time, the double standards
Have
when
you?
it comes to promiscuity. Yes, absolutely. It's absolutely not fair in society that a man can do what a woman can't get away with, and a man can be applauded and all of that stuff for the same thing that a woman will be demonized for. It's totally not cool, and it needs to change.
Well, I think, in fact, it is changing, whether politically they think it is or not. I know
Yeah.
they want us all white girls to have lots of babies, and they'll pay us to have them.
Well, I think women are standing up. I think y'all are tired, man, and you should be. Like, it's so cool to see, women standing up for not just equality. I mean, that's been a thing for a long time, that's been fought for and stuff, but really more of a societal acceptance, right? Like, that's the thing I think that is changing more, right?
I think it is changing. I
Yeah.
think, in spite of everything, it's going to change. I think that a lot of very patriarchal men are not wanting it to change, and
No.
then so they wrap religion in it. And now I cannot deal with churchianity or religiosity. I can't deal with it, but I sure do love the Lord. I believe in a higher power with everything that's in me. I truly believe in that, and
Yeah.
I believe that's what supported me through all kinds of challenges in this school. And I do believe we choose with spirit. We say, okay, this I need to do this. This is a lesson I need. These are the kind of parents I need. This is what I need to do in this lifetime to grow in light, to grow closer to what spirit actually is, which is just light and love. Boy, do we have a way to go.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do it in just one lifetime. Maybe we can. If you
Yeah.
can, great.
I mean,
Good for you.
it's such
I haven't.
incremental steps, right? It's such slow progress, and I don't know, man. I'm just such a huge fan of the women in all music, and I want to hear more of that. So, like, when I see, like, I love Willie Nelson, and I love that Half Nelson CD, and you're the only female voice on that CD. There needs to be more of that, right? Like, there should have been more of that even then, right?
Well, there could. There were, you may have heard that I'm the only outlaw, but there were other outlaws. I think Emmy Lou was a pretty good outlaw
Sure.
herself,
Yeah.
and Tanya Tucker and Gail Davies. I mean, there were voices back then. A lot of them were kind of suppressed.
Yeah.
They weren't, or we lost ourselves in drugs and alcohol for a while, and it petered out because we were
And I think
fighting.
that suppression is lifting for sure, right? Like, I feel like that has lifted to an extent since then.
Suppression makes you angry. Angry makes you want to do things to make yourself not angry.
Agreed.
And I think that the only thing that actually really works for that is the practicing the presence of spirit in the midst of whatever challenges you're having,
Yeah.
whatever that is. You can go forward in that power, and when you don't have it when you're insufficient yourself, and we all are. We're
Absolutely.
we're not whole things yet,
Mhm.
but we're whole when we're all together. And that's what a lot of my work now, the writing of my work now, is talking about. We need to, in fact, I'm writing a song right now called it's called "We Need to Build Bridges, Not Walls."
Yeah.
We need to build bridges where we're going to have a civil war, and it won't be pretty.
Nope.
We need to be able to talk to one another. We're never going to agree on there are certain things that we will never, ever be able to agree on. Okay, fine. Come to the middle and find. Nobody gets everything they want all the time.
Right.
There are too many of us with too
There's
many
not,
different
there's
ideas.
not enough compromise nowadays. That's for sure. Man, let's talk about now. We could talk about all of your awesome hits in the '80s and '90s and stuff, and I have all of that, and I'd love to chat with you maybe a second time later on about that kind of stuff. But we have 45 minutes today, and it's really important to me to talk about the record that came out in '24. It's called "For the Black Sheep," which, by the way, is the absolute perfect title for the record. Absolute perfect
My
title.
people.
Yeah,
These are my people.
sure.
These are my people. These are people who are not into churchianity, not into religiosity, and a lot of them have just thrown the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah,
Just don't believe in anything. Well, you know what? That's not where it is. Where it is there really is something, a higher power. There really is that, and it's really important to find that. However you can find that, whatever way that you can realize that. I know, even my son he is not really a believer in anything. He believes in chaos. He's this scientist brain guy. But we taught them when we were little kids. We said, now, when you're going to fall or you're ready to have a car crash or something, ask the Holy Spirit to put the white light around you. It's protection. Put that white light around you. He still does that.
yeah.
So I don't know what to make of what his belief is, and it's not in my business. We need to find that in any one lifetime the way we find it.
Yep.
And it doesn't need to be defined with us in some kind of dogma. That's not where it is. It's in real life, right now, right here, all the time. And the best way to find it, and the best way you can actually prove that spirit exists by practicing the presence of God in the middle of a horrendous challenge and difficulty. If you can keep your mind on saying, okay, I can't deal with this. Okay, I'm done. I just don't have the strength. There's no possible way in the world that I'm going to do. Some people never get there, but maybe they don't have to. But the bottom line is most of us do get there. And when you're there, it's a great experiment to say, okay, you say if I praise God anyway, or whatever you call that, that things will change, not just in me, but in the outside world. Well, try it. It's the only way you will ever prove to yourself that there is a higher power that actually is. How can there be a spirit that is in everything that is and not be entirely 100% in us? What else would we be made from?
Right.
What else would we be if we're not part of everything? And the spirit, I believe the spirit is in everything, including the table,
Yeah.
including the sky, including dogs, including other people. That's spirit is everything. It's in everything.
Yeah.
And to connect with that in whatever way you can, whatever you call it, and that's how to do it. I read that a long time ago in a book by a charismatic Christian guy named Hal Hill, who was a horrible guy. He was the kind of guy
Horrible guy, yeah.
he was a horrible guy. He was this alcoholic, and he was this salesman, and he figured he was 50 miles away from his wife, it wasn't cheating. And he admits all this in the book. But in the book, he talked, and do we have to have time? How much time do we have? All right, I'll try to make this quick. I'm in St. Louis. I'm broke. I've had, record company. I'm completely sideways of the record company. Can't just the president of the record company, who was my dear friend and the greatest producer I ever worked with, the great Billy Sherrill, had been somehow moved aside for this other guy who did not know a major chord from a minor chord, and I thought he was the male guy for a long time. But anyway, I there was not communication there. And I told him I would make one record for him, and I knew he wasn't going to promote it, but he wasn't going to let me off the label. He said, I'm not going to let you off. I don't want to compete with you. And I said, well, I'll make one record for you, and we'll see how you do. And if you don't promote it, I'll never make another record for this company. And you can just have a dead artist.
Yeah.
That's it. So I got thrown out of his office at that point. But anyway, that was never a good. It was never a good relationship with the new guy. And I was heartened because everybody else hated him too. So I wasn't the only one. In fact, I learned about forgiveness with that guy because he was actually an angel in a way. But because when you learn how to really forgive somebody, it's a great gift.
Yeah, it's hard. It's one of the hardest things to do.
It's the greatest gift. Somebody told me, well, you can't do it maybe. Just let Spirit's forgiveness flow through you to that person. And in doing that, you'll probably get some understanding. And I did. So that was how I learned about forgiveness.
I wanted to give you your flowers on that record because one thing I've always loved about you as an artist is your ability to kind of make a song come to life with your vocals. It's always been kind of your signature for me as a fan of yours, and that is so present in the For the Black Sheep record. Just every song just comes. It's just like it jumps off the page because of your vocals. I just wanted you to know that I love that about you, always have, and just a great record. Still doing it, man.
I'm grateful for you saying that. I really am. I have to tell you, I had a show in Sacramento the other night, and it was a perfect show. The audience was thrilled. They had a great time. I didn't feel anything, nothing. So that night, I said to Spirit, okay, if this is how it's going to be, I have to retire because I can't do this. If I can't feel it, there's no use doing it.
Yeah, it's all about the feel. Yeah.
It's nothing. It's just blah.
Yep.
The next day, I had a show in my old hometown of Santa Cruz, California,
Yep.
there are more musicians there than people. And all the greatest musicians, my favorite musicians were there. They all came to the show. And we were sold out. And we had 100 people on the waiting list. And my old drummer of 33 years sat in with us, and my old bass player who was been with everybody, Willie Nelson on Maui and the New Riders of the Purple Sage forever, and Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, all these people, they just were there and they played with me. And I felt every second of that show. So I had some validation. Okay, you were tired or something.
Yeah.
You have too much on your mind. That's not always going to happen. You're going to have a night when you don't feel like that once in a while. Do not stop.
No.
So I'm not stopping.
Good. I love that. I've got some quick segments here just to get us to the 45. These will be used as kind of like little reels and stuff like that that we'll promote the episode with. I think you'll have fun with these. The first one's called Did You Know? Can you tell us something your fans may not know about you?
Oh, God. Do I have to?
Well, you get to choose whatever it is. So,
I'm pretty transparent. I don't hold back. I really, if you want to know about me, I will tell you. I will tell you everything that I possibly can. But something they don't know about me. Well, I don't know if they. I don't know if they know that we. This is kind of serious, but we've had a foundation for wild horses is about to protect and preserve wild horses for a very long time, since about 2004, and I've been in a horse rescue since 1998.
Yep.
And we are, in fact, I just wrote a letter. You can see it on the our foundation is called Let 'em Run Foundation, LETEMRUN.org, letemrun.org.
We'll put that in the description below for folks if they're interested.
Great, thank you. And I have a letter on there that I wrote to President Trump recently. And there's been a little movement on that about the letter will explain everything because we don't have time, but it's a really good idea to preserve and protect the wild horses that 88% of the voters want. 88% of us want to preserve and protect the wild horses. Project 2025 on page 528 on the last line must give Congress the ability to allow the Bureau of Land Management to dispose humanely of these animals.
That's crazy.
Wrong.
Yeah,
That's
that's
just
crazy.
wrong.
Yeah.
The people will go crazy because 88% of us, which 88% of us don't agree about anything else
No.
but breathing.
No.
So there, I'm on my soapbox for that.
And
So
I
they
don't
may
know
not
about that. I
know.
think that probably less of us agree about breathing. I'm not sure. All right, next one's called Mount Rushmore. Who's on Lacy J. Dalton's Mount Rushmore of Country Women
Oh,
Artists?
the Highwayman, bang, just the Highwayman, right there.
Highwaymen. Okay, so for country artists, Highwaymen. Perfect.
Mhm.
All right, my next segment is called What the Heck? This is 5 rapid fire questions. Just tell me the first thing that
Oh
pops into your
God,
brain. Number
I have
1,
no brain.
why do you think McDonald's doesn't serve hot dogs?
I didn't know they didn't. Maybe they're very patriarchal. You know, in Hawaii, women couldn't eat bananas.
Okay. Number 2, are you more of a hunter or a gatherer?
Oh, I'm a total gatherer, and I have to be really careful not to be a hoarder.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I have to be very careful. I just cleaned out an apartment that I have on my house that I let friends live in sometimes, and they were hoarders. It took us, I don't know, 2 gigantic dump trucks. It's a small apartment, 2 gigantic dump trucks, and I don't know how many trips to recycle I made, at least 10,
My wife
with
is
my
a
car
what she
completely
calls
full.
my wife is a self-described thrifting goblin. Goblin.
Well, we'd get along. Your
Yeah.
wife and I would be good
Yeah,
friends because I
definitely.
really, you can find anything you need in a thrift store.
Absolutely.
You never pay retail.
All
Never
right.
pay retail.
Number 3, have you written a song with a person's name in the title?
Well, animals' names for sure. Oh yeah. Well, hmm. I don't think so. My,
Okay.
Old Blue dogs, of
Hey,
course, which tells you where my head is at.
you said they're the best people on the planet, and I can't
They are the
disagree.
best people on earth.
Number 4, who is your hero?
Oh, without any doubt at all, my favorite singer-songwriter, well, there are two really, but Chris Christopherson and Guy Clark are my two favorite, and I've had hits that have been given to me by people I love, songwriters I adore. But Chris Christopherson and Guy Clark were really the main influences on my writing. And also, oddly, early on, Dolly Parton. Dolly used to always include a moral message in her songs,
Yeah.
like Coat of Many Colors or
Yep.
Shatter My Image. Those early Dolly songs really turned me on because they weren't just yakking about romance. They were actually talking about how how we feel and what makes us grow
Just
and what makes us more empathetic to other
Yeah,
people.
incredible
Unconditional love.
songwriters, incredible
Yeah.
songwriters, and Dolly is just you talk about alien. I think she's alien. Like she's
Oh,
just
she's definitely one of
yeah,
us. Yeah.
she's just incredibly like we need to wrap her in bubble wrap and preserve her at all costs, in my opinion.
We do.
All
We
right,
do.
last one on what the heck. What is the funniest thing you ever wore?
Oh, I did the UFO festival with Merle and Willie, and I didn't have a costume. And I thought, I need to wear something really weird and different for this to, honor my alien parents. And so I couldn't find, there was this bathing suit I found. It was a children's bathing suit. I'm not very big. So I was able to somehow stuff myself into this iridescent, sort of silvery bathing suit top. And I had dealy boppers
Feely poppers.
for the whole show. And I got to sing all my alien songs, of which there are many. I have a song called The Wanderers, and I have a song called I Want to Go on a UFO and Leave This World Behind. Anyway, I've written some songs about that sort of thing. And that was one of the most wonderful shows I've ever done, but it was so sad because whoever was putting the show on, and I might have been Merle or Willie, they forgot to order seats for the people in this great giant stadium. So it was in what is the Roswell, New Mexico, in the summer. So it's like 9 million degrees. Whoever ordered the porta potties, they ordered them from like 1939, and they had not been cleaned since.
Oh
I
my
remember they were
God.
the awful color of aqua, and there was a whole row of the porta potties. it was unbelievable. We had Willie's band locked themselves outside of the bus, so we had to, we
Of
had to
course
go
they
on.
did.
And it was just one of those things. It was one of
Oh
those
my
things. But it's a
God.
good memory. It was a great memory. And there's a terrible picture of me in this. The bathing suit thing was so tight that it totally flattened my not very big chest in the first place. And then the dealy bobbers were a whole other great
Pre
addition.
TikTok, man. Why couldn't we have TikTok back then? That would have been great.
There
you
is a picture. I've seen
you
it.
would have been viral easy right
Bad.
there.
Oh,
Um,
it's on my website. That guy, I had no idea. It said there's a horrible picture on my website of me and Merle, both of us looking really horrible. Well, we were probably, it was 300 degrees in Roswell, New Mexico. I don't know who took the picture, but God help us.
all right, I'm looking for it. I'll have to find
We're
it
not that
later.
bad looking, neither one of
That's great stuff. All right, next segment's called One Artist. Who is one artist you wish the whole world knew about, other than yourself?
Oh, I have to say again, Chris Christopherson, because there's so much wisdom in his songs. There is some real healing in his songs. He is really a planetary healer. And there are songs that he's written that we have not heard. They've not
Yeah,
really been out. We all know Bobby McGee, me and Bobby McGee. We know those songs, Sunday Morning Coming Down. But there are songs that he has written that have great healing in them. And I got to perform one of them. It was a minor hit. It went to 7 or something on the charts. It was called The Heart.
yep.
And it is the chorus of that song is the best advice ever. If they deal you down and dirty in a way you don't deserve, you'll feel better if you take it like a man or a woman. Because if you let them drive you crazy, girl, they'll shut your business down. Shake it off and get your licks in when you can, because the heart is all that matters in the end. The heart is all that matters in the end. We need to be fed this way.
Yeah.
We need to be fed this way. We need to be fed. And our our hearts need to be fed. And in the Bible, there's a saying that I love that says, keep well the heart, for out of it come all the issues of life. And I believe that's true.
All right, awesome. What is the biggest lesson you've learned directly from music?
Oh, there are so many. But never give up. Never give up. There are 1,000 reasons to give up. I was going to tell you that story that made about Hal Hill, the horrible salesman, the alcoholic guy. I was in St. Louis, and I was in a period where I was fighting with the record company. I wasn't getting a lot of work, and I couldn't afford insurance for my guys' band insurance to go on the road. And we went traveling from California to St. Louis with all their stuff and I didn't say anything to anybody. I just thought, we got to just pray that this is going to be okay. Well, in St. Louis, we were in a hotel with a chain link fence around it and razor wire. And even so, it was broken into and all the equipment was gone. And I had just read this book by Hal Hill. And I said, Hal Hill, who is practice the presence of God in the middle of difficulty, and see
Right.
what happens, an experiment. So I got on the radio that morning and they said, how are you doing? I said, well, I'm not doing very well because all of our equipment got stolen. We're going to have to rent all of the equipment to do the show tonight. And but I'm just going to do what Hal Hill said. I'm just going to start praising the universe and thanking the universe for whatever this challenge is. And I'm just going to keep doing that instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm going up. It was a scary thing because my guys' instruments were all there. And so this woman happened to be listening to the radio at the time. And she called me up in the hotel, and God bless her. I never got to thank her. I was just so blown away. They let the call go through, which they don't usually. And she said, hello, is this Lacy J. Dalton? I said, yes, it is. And she said, I'm so-and-so. And I just want you to know. Now, I'm praising God anyway, I'm doing the whole, thing, and I'm going, if not really believing. And, but doing it anyway with my whole heart, because she said, I believe I saw a bunch of boys take a bunch of musical equipment into a deserted house next to my house.
Wow.
Here's the address. If you go there, I think you'll find your equipment.
Wow.
And that was the first time I tested it, and it worked. And I went, oh, okay. Okay, maybe this is real. Maybe spirit is really personal. Maybe this is, and since then, challenge after challenge. You wouldn't believe. If I wrote a book, I don't think people would believe it. I don't think they would believe it
Mhm.
because I've had incredible challenges since then, just like that. We got every piece of equipment back except the toolbox of my road manager.
Wow.
So that was the first time that we
Good
did that,
stuff.
and I'm glad I got to fit that in because it's
Yeah, sorry if I cut you off earlier on that. I apologize for
no,
that.
you didn't. I did.
Okay.
I get going and just blither.
All right, next segment is called "Moment of Gravity." I love this question. It's such a cool concept. It's kind of a perspective thing, or reflective rather. When you look back at your career, can you kind of pinpoint a moment in your life that kind of was the defining moment that led you on the path to where you ended up?
Oh, yeah. I made a little record in a garage in Santa Cruz, and I sent it to my old friend who was a very, very successful criminal attorney in LA. He was helping, I loved him because he was helping people get out of the Vietnam War, which I was very much opposed to. And I thought if I had a son at that time, I would have helped him get to Canada.
Yeah.
Not to diminish anything that anybody did in that war, because people gave everything.
Yep.
But I didn't think that war was necessary. I thought it was horrible, just a horrible decision that our country made to do that. And so I liked this man. David Wood was his name. And I sent him that record. And I had gotten married since he knew me. And my name back then, my married name was Jill Croston. Well, he didn't know me as Jill Croston. So he never listened to the record. And a year later, he was shaving and he put the record on while he was shaving. And oh, I know who that is. That's Jill. I get a phone call. He said, I'm coming up in my jet and I'm going to get you. And I'm going to bring you to LA and I'm going to put you with the best musicians I can put you with in LA. And you're going to make, but you can't do any of that other stuff you do. You have to just do plain, crass country music. You have to do that. That's what you're going to do. Just nothing but country music. Come down here. That song, Crazy Blue Eyes. We're going to do that one, and we're going to do this one other one that we had. I said, all right. What do I get to lose? I'm a single mother. I have been widowed. I had a child to raise, and I didn't have a record deal. So he came up to San Jose and picked me up, and he got out of the. He was so funny. He fancied himself as Colonel Parker. He got out of the. And this is my friend, this getting people out of the Vietnam War, normally in a T-shirt and jeans. He's in a white suit with gold jewelry and white loafers with little gold things on them. He had changed because of his success. He was very successful. He was the one who prosecuted, I think he was a prosecuting attorney on the Hillside Strangler case and some big cases in
Yeah.
LA. And he knew everybody. And he became my first manager. And for somebody who had never done it, I have to say he did the most amazing job. He really had never ever managed anybody, and we're probably not really great friends now, but he actually did a wonderful job, and he really worked his butt off, and got me a very good start in country music. And that with that song "Crazy Blue Eyes," when we released it to all the record companies, we had offers from every major record
Yeah,
company.
you ended up with Columbia, right?
We did, but we even had an offer from Mick Jagger.
Wow.
And I often wondered, but CBS moved faster to do it. Mick was in the middle of a divorce to Bianca, and he was not on top of that, but they were. And I went with CBS because I'd always heard that Billy Sherrill was the magician and fabulous person that he was.
Yeah, he was great.
He was an amazing. I'm so grateful to have had him for a producer, because he was not only a great producer, he was a great human being.
So you could not possibly know this, Lacy, but you just named my next segment. You said, I was so grateful. My next segment is called Grateful. What are the 3 things you are most grateful for?
Well, my wonderful parents, my wonderful kids, my family, my wonderful manager, and the grace of God to keep going at this, far down the road, still working, no intent to retire. I'll probably die in the saddle, which is all right with me, except I think you poop your pants when you die, and that would be kind of awful on stage. So,
So
I'm not looking forward
I
to
think
that.
that's like
Maybe
a
I could do it
50-50 thing.
backstage.
I think some people do and some people don't, right? So,
Oh, there's a chance. Well,
yeah,
okay.
there's a better than average chance that you won't poop your pants when you die. So, all right, last one. This might be the hardest one for you to answer. Maybe not
Oh,
though. This is called "Who Do You Think You Are?" Who is Lacy J. Dalton?
well, I'm not sure that I'm entirely human. I think I may be a kind of some kind of a hybrid, and you know who I know is a hybrid is uh, the beautiful Taylor Swift. I never forget touching that child's hand, and I don't think it's a thing about music. I think it's about her energy. She has the most beautiful energy.
I love Taylor
Well,
Swift so much.
I couldn't even name one of her songs. I couldn't. Not I've heard them, but I couldn't remember. I can't. That's not what I loved about her.
Yeah,
I touched her. She was sitting up. We shared a dressing room at the International Songwriters Awards, and my friend Tom Schuyler was getting an award for 16th Avenue. I went back to sing 16th Avenue, and she was sitting up on this speaker. And I reached. She said hi, and she reached down to me. She said, "I'm Taylor Swift," and she took my hand. This was before she was ever any
yeah.
big person, but everybody loved her. And I could, the minute I touched her, I felt something I've never felt from another human being. One of the most beautiful light feelings. That girl is made of light. I don't care what anybody says about her. I won't believe it because that is a beautiful, and I believe she's a hybrid. She'd probably be insulted if she knew I said that. She's also from Pennsylvania, so
She's such
she's
an
half
incredible
waterhead,
human
half
being.
waterhead like me.
Like just beyond the music and the songwriting and all that, just a phenomenal human being. She does so much for other people.
Unbelievable.
So much grace in that girl as well. I mean, she's. I don't know. I don't understand how people can meet her energy with hate. I just never understand it. And
Well,
it is,
what's so different if there is she's very different from them,
yeah,
and people are afraid of what's different.
agreed.
You know, until they grow a little more, have another couple lifetimes, maybe 12.
And I don't know if you heard the news today. The big news is that Travis and Taylor got engaged this morning.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good. Well,
so
may God bless their
so funny that
union.
you mentioned her name today of all days. So that's pretty cool. Guys, what a phenomenal treat it was to chat with Lacy J. Dalton today. Let me tell you guys how you can follow along with her. All this stuff is going to be down in the description below as well. It's lacyjdalton.org. O-R-G, not .com. Very important to get to the org. There's all kinds of cool stuff on the webpage from her biography, music videos, her phenomenal career and awards, her photo gallery. You can contact her through there. Social medias is Lacy J. Dalton Official on YouTube. It's Lacy J. Dalton on Facebook and Instagram. Her ex is Lacy J. Dalton. And Lacy has a TikTok as well, so you guys go check that out, Lacy J. Dalton. Lacy, thank
I
you so much.
do.
She has no idea she has a TikTok, but she does. So
I sadly I'm a complete techno peasant. I have difficulty with the phone. You're the one that insisted on having.
she's the
my
one.
manager's saying you insisted on having
You
the TikTok
insisted on having a TikTok, and then you
because
just
I am so techno cool.
then you just abandoned it at a time of need. Oh my gosh, Lacy, thank you
This
so
has
much
been
for a fun
so
time.
fun.
Yeah.
Boston Chris, we should do this again. You are so fun.
Man,
and
I would
I've
love.
had-
I would really love to chat with you again, and talk more about maybe the mid part of your career. I think that would be so much fun.
It would be if I could remember it, and we're at that age.
Well, you know what they say. If you can't remember it, just make something up that was equal or better.
Do you know who did that? I love Bobby Bear. He was the first act I ever toured with. And Bear, every time he did an interview, he would tell them something completely different.
Yep, I know. I would love to chat with Bobby, but his people say he's kind of beyond interviews at this time. So
I don't think I guess he has good days and bad days.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
what
hope-
I've heard.
I hope the rest of his days are the best in the world because he was so good to
it's
me.
just a
So,
phenomenal
as a young
songwriter
artist,
too,
really.
right? Like I think he's
Oh.
such an unheralded guy when it comes to songwriting.
Oh, he's just the best.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm Jody.
And I'm Jordan.
Together we are
The
the Couldn't
Couldn't
Be
Be
Happiers.
Happiers.
Thanks for tuning in to the Boston Chris podcast.